Hi, I'm Shannon MacArthur here at Earthstock Summit for 2024. It's amazing what's going on here, and I have the next amazing person to come and talk to you. James Whitetree is the co-founder of Stoneheart Retreat. And he is, oh my, I'm going to have to get coached on this. I'm sorry. He's been talking to the forest, and the forest has been talking back. And he wants to tell you about it. I think we need to listen. Would you come and tell him?
Look at that on camera and everything. This snickering bunch. So, I was in Palenque this last spring, and a lot of things were going on. With the Council of the Condor, the Eagle, Quetzal, and Colibri was in progress. And I started receiving a message from the jungles. I was actually in a conversation with somebody, and I reached a point where I couldn't hear what they were saying anymore because the jungle was speaking so loudly and demanding my attention. So I had to tell him, you know, I can't talk right now. And thankfully he understood. And I went to my partner. And by the time I reached her a few feet away, I couldn't speak either. But she could see that I was clearly receiving messages. So she tried to reach Chief Phil Lane Jr., but he was busy. And I walked from where I was out into the jungle, and I sat on the ground and I let them wash over me with their message. You know how often when you're receiving messages of spirit, it can sometimes get too big, and you move to that, you know, please dial it down, please calm it, please relax it, and they calm down and you're okay. Well, that didn't happen. They were overwhelming me to the point that I couldn't see, I couldn't think clearly, I couldn't hear anything, I couldn't smell anything. I just knew I was sitting on the ground. And it wasn't until I promised to share their message that they finally agreed to dial it back, and the message became clear enough for me to really get it. So I'm going to start by running you all a little bit through an exercise, and I want you to take it with you. I will do a similar exercise, a little more complicated at the end if you have the patience for it. But for starters, I want you to just take a moment to close your eyes and look into yourself. And while you're looking into yourself, I want you to gather all of your stresses and all of your anxieties and all the things that piss you off, the guy who cut you off in traffic, you know, the mother who stole your sandwich or wouldn't put the right stuff in your lunchbox, whatever it is, you know, who lost your crayons, whatever your issues are. Take all of your anxieties, gather them together in a ball in your abdominal region where your intestines live, because that's where we process the stuff of our life that we don't want to keep. And looking inside, once you've got that gathered together in a ball, I want you to smile inwards and downwards at Mother Earth and just release that ball into Mother Earth and let her take it from you and allow her to return to you whatever she has to offer to replace it with. Now, this is the simplest method of cleansing yourself that you will find that I know of. I will give you a more complex way in a little bit that you can run off of. But that's the solution that the forest gave me. Now I want to present you with the problem, because the problem was terrifying. And I have never known land spirits to be afraid of anything. An army of men could walk into the forest with chainsaws and the land spirits would shrug. Okay, it's the cycle of life. They give of themselves all the time. They will give of themselves right unto death. They do it all the time. We have our fires. We cut down live trees. We cut down dead trees. We cut them to build things. We cut them because they're in the way. We cut them because we want to put in a garden. We cut them because we want to build a road. The forests and nature gives of itself without any asking of anything in return. And it will give of itself right unto death every time because it loves us that much. We hear sometimes about how Mother Earth is pissed off, right? There's storms going on, there's issues happening, and we go, Mother Nature's mad at us. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, that's not true. Mother Nature is never mad at us. She will always accept whatever we do because we are of her. We are her children. What mother doesn't love her children? She may sometimes be sad by what we're doing, by the choices we make, by the things that we seem to be, the tracks we seem to be leaving in the ground, the way we seem to be making a bit of a mess. But she accepts us for who we are. She accepts us for what we are. Now, that said, on this occasion, the forest was terrified. And it had very good reason because we are on the cusp of finding a brand new way to exploit our nature elders that we have never done before. Now, throughout the history of man, we have always gone to nature with our issues. Shamans have done it forever. People have done it all the time. We will go out into the woods, we will find a tree that we love, or we find a rock that we love, and we'll sit with it, and we will commiserate the things that are troubling us. And for those who are connected to nature, we get back solutions, we get back strength, we get back reinforcement. We get back the things that we need to move on with our lives and be better. But today specifically, things are different because now we have the internet. Now we have satellites where you can actually get a signal in the middle of a jungle where there is nothing. You can still get a signal. You never used to have that. Just 10 years ago, good luck with that. You'd be carrying a box on your back to try and launch your signal up to satellites to try and get the message you need. Not now. All you need is a big fat phone and you're good. Now, the forest wanted me to understand how it is that they knew the path that we were on because humans live in doubt. We doubt what we don't know. We doubt what we can't see. We doubt what we can't measure. So it used as an example a ceremony that we were at just the day before when we were at the temples, the ancient temples in Palenque. And 2 condors flew overhead and circled us while the concheros were dancing and singing their prayers. And it was a beautiful thing. And we were all very impressed by it. And what the forest wanted me to understand was that was no accident. Because everything that exists has a spirit body around it. This table, it's plastic. It doesn't transfer energy very well, but it still has a spirit body. Everything does. Now, the spirit body extends beyond your physical body. Now, for most people, that's in this day and age, it's sort of an oval that extends out around us. According to the forest, back in the day, 1,000 years ago, it was more of an egg shape with the larger portion of our spirit body sitting in the earth where we could be connected to nature. And now a lot of people, it's the other way around, or typically an oval. But that spirit body means that we are always connected to the earth, whether we realize it or not. It doesn't matter what you feel inside, you're still connected. And because everything has the spirit body, these connection fields sort of overlap each other everywhere. Every blade of grass has its own little spirit body connected to the next one, as well as the roots, which spread out and can communicate as well. Now, that means that information can travel very, very fast between nature spaces. And it means that when you're at home and you're saying to yourself, I'm going to go out in the woods this weekend and I'm going to do a ceremony. The moment that thought goes through your head, before you've even said it out loud, your energy body has responded to the fact that you have expressed in your being this desire. And then the land underneath you picks that up and it gets spread very rapidly throughout your environment. And by the time you decided absolutely you're going to be doing this, you're starting to gather what you need, you've got your supplies, you're getting ready to go, the forest knows you're coming. To a large degree, when we go to a space and we say, please, nature beings, accept my being here, please allow me to share this space with you and offer my prayers and thank you in gratitude for letting me be here and express as well as I can, your space and sharing your environment. When we say these things to the land, they already knew we were coming. They already said it was okay, but it's polite. And that's profoundly important. The basic respect that we offer to one another and to nature is the cornerstone of happy existence. It's the cornerstone of honest existence. So when we're going into the forest to do our ceremonies, the forest knows. So when we see two condors circling overhead, we're going, wow, what an amazing thing. They came by right at the right moment. Well, no, they didn't. They knew you were coming. They're there because you're doing ceremony. They want to be a part of it. They're coming to share with you their blessings. It's not an accident. They're actively engaging with us, which is one of the reasons why we're so happy to see them. Now, knowing that, we understand that the nature spirits can recognize the path that we are on. The thoughts that are going through our head, the things that we're doing with our day, represent a journey. And right now, there is the possibility for an individual to walk into the nature anywhere, take a photograph of a tree, and share that tree with potentially billions of people. It wouldn't happen that way, most likely, because your average influencer is a bit of an idiot. So it's probably going to be thousands. But the reality is, if one person shared an image to thousands of followers, they can share that image all over, and it can be reshared and reshared again, and everybody can enjoy that experience together. So what the forests showed me, a couple of things actually. One of them was, imagine a young woman in Europe somewhere, and she's having a bad breakup with her boyfriend, and she's pissed off, and she's an online influencer. She's got 50,000 followers, and they're all dedicated, right? And they're all pissed off at this guy as well, because, you know, who is he to piss her off? She's such a nice person. So they're all together commiserating over her current situation. And then she sees online some video of a ceremony being done off in the jungles of South America. And a tribe is honoring their ancestors at a fire in front of a great tree. Their people have prayed in front of that tree for generations. It's just this huge, beautiful tree. And this young woman sees this tree and thinks, that's amazing. That makes me feel so much better. It's so peaceful and serene. So she copies that and sends that picture out on her page. And all her pissed off friends and her pissed off self look at this tree, and together they commiserate about her condition, about the situation she's in, because she's mad at her boyfriend. The tree dies. Your average, I have to say average because it is, there are exceptions, but in almost every case, animal spirits, plant spirits, bird spirits, fish spirits, nature spirits in general are infinitely less complicated than ours. And they are not set up to deal with even our day-to-day drama. The little arguments that we have, the texting away and we're a little bit bent, and just the sheer volume of activity that happens in our lives. It's far more complex than the nature spirits are prepared for or capable of. So if 50,000 people were to dedicate their attention in a negative way towards a single tree, it has no hope of processing that. However, it is a nature elder. It will absolutely give of itself unto death in order to provide the answers that we want. And we have no right to do that to the trees. I happen to know that there's an individual who's been making suggestions that we should bring our issues with war and violence and our need for peace to the olive tree. Now, we know that if we take a glass of water and we pray into it and we feed that to our plants will flourish. We also know that if we take a glass of water and we curse at it and we feed it to our plants will wilt. If you can do that to water, imagine 3 million people and their vast, wide array of experiences of warfare, all praying to olive trees, asking for answers on peace. Do you want to eat those olives? I don't. I don't ever want to eat those olives. And they aren't set for it, but they will absolutely try and answer those questions. They will kill themselves to do it. Now, the reason I put you through the exercise at the beginning is so that you would understand that there's a solution. Because Mother Earth is the most complex being in our sphere. She is our mother. She made every single one of us. She can take anything we give her. We can take all of our problems and hand it to Mother Earth, and she will transmute those into something positive, and she will give us back a balanced energy that we can use, and answers if we know how to listen. We know how to hear her. She will answer our questions. She will teach us how to live in community in a safe way. For the nature elders, for the four-legged, the two-leggeds, the no-leggeds, and I say two-leggeds because there are people out there who aren't much better than animals. For all of the beings of nature, we should reserve our thanks, our gratitude, our love, and our support, because they nourish us. They are the ones who give us the food. They're the ones who give us the shelter. They're the ones who give us our water. This is where everything which keeps us healthy comes from. And if we bring our problems to individual nature beings, once upon a time it was okay, not anymore. That's the message that I was told. With the way the internet is today, with the way it's spreading like wildfire around the world, we can no longer risk, even on a small individual scale. I work shaman. I cannot go to the trees in my backyard and bring them my problems, even though I could transmute those problems myself into something less complicated so that they could give me back sensations of how to deal with it. It's irrelevant. The fact is, they should never have to deal with that. It's not right. We could destroy the very spirit of the nature around us. And that's the problem. That's why they're afraid. We're not talking about them giving up their wood. We're not talking about them giving up the minerals. We're not talking about mining coal out of the ground. We're not talking about salting the earth. We're not talking about taking too many fish out of the ocean. We're talking about corrupting the very spirit of nature by eating its soul up, by giving it something it cannot process and killing it. So we take our blessings and give that to our nature spirits, to our nature elders. We offer our blessings, our gratitude, our love, and it will nourish us forever. We give our crap to Mother Earth because she will compost all of that. We saw some of that the other day in the constellation when the individual who was standing for respect spent a lot of the time feeling like she was composting the wide variety of stuff that was going on, because that is respectful. It is respectful to give Mother Earth our crap. It sounds bad. You don't want to crap where you live, but the fact is Mother Earth can deal with it. That's what she's for. She's there to be the mother. She's there to look after us. She's there to make sure we have what we need. So if you want, I will give you now the more complicated version of how to release things, because it is a little more, but it's also a really good way to ground yourself, not just for releasing, but in general. The exercise that I gave you at the very beginning, that should be done anytime you're about to enter sacred anything, sacred space, whatever it is. You're going to enter a sacred conversation. If you're going to sit down and have a meal, you should take the time to let go of your junk first, so that you're not accidentally putting any of that in your food that you're going to ingest, or into the conversation you're about to have, or into your sacred space that you're about to pray in. Before Earthstock started, the Kogi there's a number of them. We were looking at trying to get them to come here. It didn't work out. But one of their conditions was that the Mumbos would be allowed to find a specific space. For them, they were looking for a rock, but a specific space that they could organize everybody to go to dump their crap into Mother Earth. And to me, that was really validating, because that said that in the middle of the jungle, they already know this. It's those of us who live in cities who have forgotten how to live with nature. We've forgotten what it is to be with the trees. We've forgotten what it is to talk to the fish. We don't get it anymore. So I was told by nature to share this message, and they would not let me go until I did, until I promised to. So that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping this gets everywhere. I would like to think that every church around the world, the priest will be teaching their congregation to do this very thing before they walk into church for the first time every single time. You know, every time you want to sit down and have a discussion with your family, you should sit down and let go of your stuff first, because you don't need to be bringing that into your home environments. You know, everything we eat can be sacred if we take the time to pray over it. So the more complex version of letting this stuff go amounts to finding what we're going to call our attention awareness. Now, I can't claim right to that phrase because I stole it. But there's an author by the name of Peter Ralston, who's a martial artist, and he coined the term, as far as I'm aware, in a book where he was trying to talk about how to better how would I say, to better hold your environment when you're in a conflict. But what he also described, oddly enough, was grounding, proper, perfect grounding. So the way it was described is your center of awareness is a place where your experience of the physical environment comes together in your mind. So when you see, that energy of sight reacts and responds in your mind. When you hear, it responds usually the same place. Same thing with your physical feelings, your smell, everything comes together. All your physical senses coalesce in a single spot in your mind. And if you can identify that spot for yourself, even if you can't, you can get around it. But if you can identify that spot for yourself, you meditate on that position and you push it downward and you let it sit in each of your chakra positions, preferably for as long as you can, over the space of a few days. Like you might hold it in your neck for in your throat for a couple of days. Move it to your heart. The heart is one of the primary positions that you want to keep it. You want to be hearing, seeing, feeling through your heart. This gives you the most intuitive experience of your world, as you might expect. But when you're grounding, you can push that center of awareness down right through your chakra system and right down into the earth. I usually recommend that people try and push it down as far as it was when you stand tall. So if you're 5 feet off the ground, you should push that center 5 feet into the earth. If you're 6 foot something, it should be 6 foot something into the earth. And this gives you, it increases, it doubles the size of your globe, your personal sphere of energy. And once you're down there, you can hold yourself down there. If you're, like when I put my center down, I can feel the weight of the table in front of me, right? Because my sphere goes out that far. You know, the first chairs around me, I can feel you sitting there. If somebody walks up behind me, I can feel them walking up behind me. I can feel what their intentions are before they present them, in the same way that the nature spirits know you're going to do ceremony, because those energy bodies interact. By making your own energy body larger and holding your mind in the earth, you can access that information sphere around you, and you can feel what's going on in your area. During this event, my partner Claudia and I have been holding space for the event, which means a part of my being is at the Mystic House, holding the ground there all the time. A part of my being is here. And when we were at the college, a part of my being was also at the college. Now it's wearing on the body and the spirit, but it's what we do. So you take that center of awareness and you push it down into the earth. When you get it to before you get to the earth, when you get to your heart location, that's when you stop initially for this purpose. When you get it to your heart, you experience through your heart, and then you gather all of your anxieties, all of your troubles again into your intestinal region. And again, you push it into a small ball, and you'll inward smile inside and down into Mother Earth. The smile is a natural release. When you're anxious and you force yourself to smile, it tricks your brain into thinking that you're happier than you really are. And it causes you to feel a little bit lighter. It's one of the reasons why when we're happy, we smile automatically. It's instinctive. We can't help it. We're releasing joy whenever we smile. So by smiling into the earth, we're letting things go. It's a lot harder to hold on to your junk if you're smiling inward and downward, because it's instinctive to let it go. And this releases things into Mother Earth and lets her take them from you. And once you've released your stuff, then you can push that center of awareness deeper into the earth and keep it in the ground for a while and experience that grounding, because the mother will automatically balance your energy. She'll balance how you exist. She'll balance how you live against her spirit body. And that is the healthiest way we can be, because she's the mother, because she will give us anything we need. By balancing with the mother, we keep ourselves in harmony with the mother. She's the largest energy body around us. A lot of people are talking these days about the stars, about the fifth dimension. Oh, I want to be a fifth dimensional being. Well, guess what? You aren't even a fourth dimensional being yet. You're not going to leapfrog from 3 to 4 to 5. It's not going to happen. Live in 4 after you've mastered 3. If you don't know how to ground yet, you haven't mastered 3. Don't worry about 5. It's down the road. You know, fourth dimension is once you've crossed over to the other side. That's when you get to work on fourth dimension. You know, so we live in a 3-dimensional world. Don't worry about the fifth dimension. Don't worry about star travel till they show up. You know, Mother Earth is our goddess. She is the biggest one we know, and she loves us. She will do anything for us if we let her. And if we kill ourselves off, she'll be sad and she'll keep going. So that's what I've got for the moment. If you have any questions, or we can go into other things.
I've been working with a Tagalog Kobe for 10 years.
Mhm.
And I've never heard them say that. I mean, what we do is they call it pagamento for us.
Yeah.
And pagamiento in Spanish when they sort of shorten it. And they always, will do a pagamento near a rock because rocks are very sacred to them.
Yeah.
But can you say more about what they, because I want to make sure I get the question.
Well, I honestly don't know what their practice is. All I know is that they specifically said that they wanted to find, they themselves would locate a rock,
Right.
and they wanted everybody who was involved in the event to go there, and then they would help guide them through the process of releasing their excess
Right.
energies into the space,
I got
which
you.
to me sounds an awful lot like what I was told to do by the forest.
Well, except for that, they don't give their crap to the earth. They give, they compost, they help compost it. Like if I was gonna do a pagamento, like if I was angry or something,
Yeah.
whatever, then they would take it kind of from the seed era. And they'd say, okay, now go bury your pagamento. Like, otherwise it would be like, but for them it's food,
Mhm.
when they're feeding. So whether the negative or positive, it's food.
Mhm.
So, anyway, it doesn't sound the same, like I wanna make sure that I ask correctly, because I don't wanna say like, we've been teaching it for 10 years, don't you get it already? So, we work with thought, like we give up our thoughts to like Swampwise, like the Father, kind of God, something, but we never put energy into Mother Earth. We never put like negative energy. We release our thoughts. Our thoughts are not our own in the practice at all. So
Well, if you're properly
we ask
connected,
forgiveness for the thoughts, for engaging it,
Yeah.
because we engaged it without permission, and then we give it up. And we do pagamento sometimes, which we basically with cotton sometimes, and then we'll take those energies and give them to the mama, or they'll say bury them under a rock and call me or whatever, because these days they don't travel that much.
Yeah.
So I was just that kind of blew me away when you said that. So I was like, I want to understand how to ask this correctly, so they're not like, no, did you have to learn anything? So, but your perspective is that you were told that by the forest,
that's right.
to drop energy, to drop all your kind of yuck into the earth.
That's right.
Okay.
And I mean, ideally, we should process our own yuck, right? We should process that and compost it ourselves and get what we need out of that before we let go of it. But the reality is, in this day and age, most of us don't know how to do that. Like in a group like this, it's a little different because we're all very spiritual people. We're all practicing, we're all learning, we're all actively working. But if you walk into the heart of downtown Manhattan and look around, you'll be lucky to have your eyes drop on somebody who's spiritual enough to know. And as a result, most people are not in a position to process their own crap. Mother Earth can help. And the ones who have a lot of crap, they also don't know how to really let go of it. The trick is to let go of as much as you can. And for those of us who are processing our junk anyway, there really won't be very much to let go of. For the most part, I'm giving Mother Earth love. I'm not releasing junk. I might release a little bit of stress now and then, but I could do that by picking up a stone and rubbing it in my hands. And when they talk about releasing the thought forms up, it's the same thing. You're letting go. You're letting go to one side or the other. I'm suggesting Mother Earth because Mother Earth is there for all of us all the time. And most people have an easier time connecting with something they can see rather than something they can't. Try and tell an atheist to release his garbage or even his slightly negative thoughts to the creator. The atheist will laugh at you.
But how could somebody put it in the earth if they can't release it to the creator?
Well, you can see the earth. An atheist can still see the earth.
And understand.
Right?
Okay.
And this is why I'm using the earth. This is why I was told to use the earth, because everybody connects to the earth, whether they like it or not. And the process of looking in at ourselves and smiling down at Mother Earth, even if you can't manage the rest of it, just that smiling downward will automatically release what you can let go of to Mother Earth. And it'll make you a little bit cleaner. And then before you walk into a sacred space, there's somebody standing out there smudging you, right? They're smudging you off. They have a lot less to clear off. I could, from a personal experience, when you're clearing people all the time, you can take a lot of brunt if everybody shows up dirty, right? It's a lot easier to wash clean hands than it is to wash hands that just came out of the toilet, right? So if people are taking a moment before they walk into sacred space to let go of what they can, then the person whose job it is to clear people before they walk in, they're going to take a lot less of that brunt themselves. And they shouldn't have to carry the weight. We should be looking after ourselves. Personal responsibility is very important. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it was a new idea for me. So
Yeah, you two both had questions.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
Two maybe questions. In a lot of the work that I do, people will, instead of sending to the earth, because we've gotten a similar message of like, Mother Earth can only take so much. They're now sending to the sun to burn it up. So I'm just curious as to your thoughts on that. And I wanted to also reiterate that we received the same message in our channeling group, that the trees are no longer asking us to dump on them, but instead stop hoarding all of the energy. If we're pulling energy in from the universe and we're learning to do this, it's time for us to be sharing with Mother Earth as well, and sharing with the trees and running the energy through. And we're getting this message coming through as well. So I just want to share that with you.
I would say it's not time for us to. I'm saying we never should have stopped.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Our job as a human being is to share with everything,
Yes.
including our brothers and sisters and the earth.
Yes.
We should always be processing the energy from above to below, from below to above. When you look at, we have the three sisters of the nature world, right? You have corn, beans, and squash. We talk about them a lot in our traditions and how supportive they are of one another. I think there are three brothers too that we tend to ignore, and that's fire, the drum, and lightning. And they all experience their existence in the same way, and we often forget about it. Fire burns up. Then lightning doesn't strike from the sky down. It blasts up. The drum, the power of the drum isn't in the strike down. It's in releasing it. You impact it and you have to let it go. If you don't let it go, you get a dead sound. You have to pull back. The power comes out of the drum. It doesn't go into the drum. And in the same way, lightning, fire, and the drum all transmute that masculine air energy, right, through electricity and heat and vibration. And they all blow up. And we forget that sometimes. We're always trying to pull energy down, pull energy down, pull energy down. But if you go outside in the middle of the night and you stare up at the night sky, you often have a sensation of falling up. That's because our energy naturally wants to blast up, you know, and we can do that. We can connect through the earth and throw energy up to the stars. You know, why do we always have to be trying to pull them down? You know, you don't climb a mountain by pulling it down on top of you. You have to put yourself up. In the same way, you can move your energy up when you step out into the sky. 5 minutes. Anybody else?
I want to ask about the videos that we watch, you know, the funny cats and the dogs and the desperate situations of some animals and in forests and all this. How should we deal with the immense amount of situations that are washing over us and through us all the time?
I would follow the example of Grandmother Kate.
Of
Grandmother Kate, Red Clover.
Who is here?
Who is here? Yeah, when we were in Palenque, I think she must have filled 15 bags of garbage. She would go to her Airbnb every night, and first thing in the morning, she'd get up and she'd take a bag and she'd go out in the streets and she'd pick up garbage. There is nothing more energizing than leaving something better than you found it. And a lot of people have forgotten that. Like, when's the last time you walked across the street to pick up a piece of garbage, right? We might not even pick up the garbage, we walk over on the street. Somebody's calling.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Maybe Jamie.
Why can't
you
I
could
see it?
Also share contact information with the group.
Call Claudia.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's what I'm putting in the chat.
I don't even own a cell phone. I'm online occasionally. I make it out for men's circles with, you know, some friends from time to time, but I don't spend my life online.
Reaching to the trees.
Yeah, but if you call Claudia, she will pass it to me, and if you want to talk to me, I'm willing to talk to anybody. You know, contacting nature is not hard. Hearing nature and understanding nature is much more complicated than people realize, because the simplicity escapes us. We always try and humanize the conversation, and there are ways to do that, but nature is not complicated. If you ask a tree, how do I be peaceful? And the tree will say, well, stop moving around.
So true.
Stand where you are and look up, let the sun come down. Like, that's what the tree does, and it's at peace. What's your problem? Why are you running around? Yeah, we try and humanize things all the time. I'm often asked, you know, what's the message from this? Well, it doesn't have a message for you, but you picked it out of the ground, so it's kind of hoping you'll do something useful with it, you know? But the plants don't really concern themselves with what we concern ourselves with. We can work our way through their messages, and when you look at a forest, you don't ever see one type of plant in an entire forest. It's always a mishmash of everything, and then we wonder why we can't get along. You know, because we're always drawing divider lines between everything, but the forest all talks to each other. They all get along with each other. They all love each other. You know, why can't we do the same thing? The forest doesn't get why we don't get it. You know,
Yeah, Peter May, who, you know, did the mycelial walk and plays music with the trees. He said that sometimes one way, you know, in terms of what you expect, you know, what kind of messages you get back, that when you're attuned with the forest or the trees, sometimes he's gotten the response that's in terms of fragrance.
yes, yeah,
So to be, you know, to be attuned to that level when you walk in.
absolutely, absolutely. It's time. Bye. It's time.
Thank you so much.
I hope you all got something useful.
Great.
I hope I didn't give anybody nightmares.